The air was thick with smoke and chaos as the battlefield erupted around them. Human and alien forces clashed in a desperate struggle, blaster fire streaking across the sky, and the roar of engines shaking the ground. Among the ranks was Captain Marcus Hale, a seasoned human soldier known for his steady nerves under pressure. His focus was fixed on holding the defensive line, ensuring the wounded were pulled to safety. But the battle took an unexpected turn when the enemy broke through the perimeter, charging toward the command pavilion where Princess Serenia of the Valari stood. She was not just a royal figure. Her presence symbolized the fragile alliance between humanity and her people. If she fell, the political fallout would shatter everything they had been fighting for. Marcus saw the assassin before anyone else. A shadow slipping through the chaos, blade glinting in the flickering light. He didn't think, didn't hesitate. With a surge of adrenaline, he sprinted forward just as the killer lunged for the princess. The blade slashed downward. Marcus threw himself into its path. Pain seared through him as steel tore across his side, but he gritted his teeth and stayed upright, shoving the assassin back with the last of his strength. Soldiers rushed in, seizing the attacker before he could strike again. The princess gasped, her wide eyes fixed on the man who had taken the blow meant for her. "Captain!" someone shouted, catching Marcus as he staggered. His uniform was slick with blood, his breath shallow but steady. Yet his gaze never left Serenia, who was frozen in shock. The Valari were a proud people, bound by ancient codes older than most civilizations in the galaxy. To them, honor and debt were sacred, especially the life debt, an unbreakable vow owed to anyone who saved their life. It was more than tradition. It was law, woven into their culture as deeply as their very language. Serenia stepped forward, her voice trembling but resolute. "You have spared my life. By the ancient code of the Valari, I am bound to you, human. Your fate is now tied to mine." Marcus frowned, struggling to stay conscious. He hadn't acted for reward or recognition. It was instinct, the duty of a soldier to protect the innocent. Yet in that moment, he realized his single act of sacrifice had reshaped his destiny. Whispers spread quickly among the Valari guards. Some looked shocked, others uneasy. A princess bound by a life debt to an outsider, especially a human, was unprecedented. The cultural and political consequences were immense. But none of that mattered to Marcus. His vision blurred, his knees buckled, and darkness crept in around the edges. The last thing he heard before losing consciousness was Serenia's voice, firm and unwavering. "He is under my protection now. His life is mine as mine is his." The battle raged on outside, but everything had already changed. Marcus awoke to the sterile scent of antiseptic and the low hum of alien machinery. His body ached, every breath pulling against the stitched wound in his side. Slowly, his vision cleared, revealing a chamber bathed in soft blue light. He wasn't in a human field hospital, this was a Valari medical ward. At his bedside stood Princess Serenia, her regal posture unchanged despite the exhaustion etched into her features. Her golden eyes met his, unwavering. "You are awake," she said softly. "Good. I feared your wound would claim you." Marcus tried to sit up, but the sharp pain forced him back down. He gave a faint smirk. "Takes more than a knife to put me out, Your Highness." But Serenia didn't smile. She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "Do you understand what you have done?" He frowned. "I did my duty. I protected you." Her gaze deepened, as though weighing his very soul. "No, Captain Hale, you did more than that. By saving me, you invoked the life debt. I am bound to you until the balance is repaid. My life is yours as surely as you gave yours for mine." Marcus blinked. He had heard rumors of Valari traditions, stories told by fellow soldiers who struggled to grasp the alien culture. But he had never imagined being at the center of one. "With respect, Princess, I wasn't thinking about your traditions. I was just doing my job." "That does not matter," Serenia replied firmly. "The bond has been sealed. To deny it would dishonor my people and shame my family's name. I cannot undo what has been written." The weight of her words pressed down on him. He hadn't sought glory or reward, yet now he carried a responsibility he barely understood. "So what happens now?" he asked cautiously. Serena's expression softened. "Now I owe you everything. Protection, loyalty, even my throne, should you claim it." Marcus chuckled weakly, then winced at the pain.
Im no politician.
"I don't need a throne. I just want this war to end." Her lips curved into the faintest smile. "Then perhaps we want the same thing." The door to the chamber opened, and several Valari nobles entered, their jeweled garments shimmering under the lights. Their faces were tight with disapproval. One of them, a counselor, spoke with thinly veiled disdain. "Princess, this is reckless. A human cannot hold such a bond. It defies centuries of custom." Serena straightened, her voice sharp as steel. "It is not reckless, it is law. He saved my life. Denying the bond would be dishonor." The counselor's eyes narrowed at Marcus. "Then the fate of our princess, and perhaps our empire, now rests in the hands of an outsider." Marcus met their gaze steadily despite the pain. He hadn't asked for this role, but he knew one thing. He wasn't about to let anyone use his humanity as an insult. The war had already tested his courage. Now it seemed fate was testing his worth. Word of the bond spread faster than wildfire. Across the Valari capital, whispers filled the corridors of power. Some spoke of honor, praising Serena for upholding tradition. Others muttered of disgrace, furious that the sacred life debt had been tied to a human. To many nobles, Marcus wasn't a hero. He was an intruder, a flaw in the fabric of their society. In the great council chamber, the debate erupted into open conflict. Rows of alien leaders sat in their crescent seats, their voices rising like a storm. One elder slammed his clawed hand on the table. "This human has no place among us. He is a soldier, a foreigner, nothing more." Serena stood at the center, her presence commanding the room. "He is more than that," she countered firmly. "He is the man who bled for me, the man who shielded me when none of you were there. To deny his bond is to deny our honor itself." The council hissed and argued, their voices echoing through the vaulted chamber. Marcus remained at her side, uncomfortable in the spotlight but refusing to step back. He had fought on battlefields, but this was a different kind of war, one fought with words, tradition, and pride. A rival noble, Lord Kalen, rose to his feet, his jeweled robes glittering under the light. His gaze was sharp and disdainful. "If this bond stands, it undermines the purity of our customs. What next? Shall humans sit on our throne? Command our fleets? This alliance will turn into submission if we are not careful." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Marcus clenched his fists, but Serena raised a hand, silencing the crowd. "Do not mistake his humanity for weakness," she declared. "Without him I would be dead, and this council would be in mourning instead of debate. You owe him your future as much as I owe him my life." Her words silenced even the loudest voices, but resentment lingered. After the council adjourned, Marcus finally spoke, his tone low and measured. "Princess, you don't have to fight this battle for me. I didn't save you for politics." Serena turned to him, her expression softening. "No, Marcus, but politics has a way of finding those who never asked for it. They see you as a threat, not because of what you are, but because of what you represent." He frowned. "And what's that?" Her golden eyes gleamed. "Change." The bond between them wasn't just personal anymore. It had become a symbol of unity to some, of corruption to others. And symbols had power, the kind that could topple empires or forge new ones. That night, as Marcus lay in the quiet of his chamber, he realized the truth. His life was no longer his own. By saving Serena, he had stepped into a role far larger than soldier or protector. He had become part of a legacy older than human history, and the galaxy was watching. Tensions only grew in the days that followed. The bond between Marcus and Serena had become a rallying point for both hope and fury. Supporters hailed it as a symbol of trust between species, while opponents plotted to tear it apart. Marcus knew every step he took was being watched, every word judged as either proof of his honor or fuel for his enemies. The test came sooner than expected. Intelligence reports revealed that remnants of the enemy faction were planning a strike directly against the Valari royal court. The target was clear: Serenia. Her survival was no longer just about politics. It was about whether the Valari people could still believe in their traditions. When the attack came, it was brutal and swift. Saboteurs infiltrated the palace under cover of night, their weapons designed to pierce through even the most advanced defenses. The alarms blared, guards rushed to hold the line, and chaos swallowed the halls of marble and light. Marcus was already at Serenia's side. He didn't hesitate when the first blast shook the chamber. Shielding her with his own body, he barked orders to the guards in a voice that cut through the noise. Despite his wound, despite being an outsider, the Valari soldiers listened. In that moment, he wasn't just a human, he was their commander. The assassins broke through the final doors, blades glinting. One lunged at Serenia, and Marcus moved with the same instinct that had bound their fates before. His injured side burned, but he blocked the strike and countered with lethal precision. Another came from behind. Serenia herself drew a ceremonial blade, her movements swift and sure. For the first time, they fought not as protector and protected, but as equals bound in battle. The struggle was fierce, but together they drove the assassins back. Marcus's fists and blades struck with human grit, while Serenia's strikes carried the elegance of her people's martial traditions. Side by side, they embodied the very bond the council had debated so fiercely. When the last attacker fell, silence swept the chamber. Guards rushed in, finding their princess alive, and standing shoulder to shoulder with the human soldier who had once been dismissed as an intruder. In the aftermath, the council could no longer deny what they had witnessed. Marcus had proven not only his courage but his worth. Serenia addressed them with fire in her voice. You feared that this bond would shame us, but tonight it saved us. The life debt is not a chain, it is a bridge. The words echoed through the chamber, silencing her critics. Even Lord Kalen could not argue against what had unfolded before their very eyes. Later, in the quiet of the gardens, Serenia looked at Marcus with a rare smile. You've changed everything, she said softly. Marcus shook his head. I didn't change your people. I just kept a promise. But deep down, he knew it wasn't so simple. Their fates were intertwined now, not just by tradition but by choice. For Marcus, it had begun with a single act of sacrifice. For Serenia, it had become a bond unbreakable. And for the galaxy, it was the beginning of a new story, one written not by bloodlines or borders, but by trust.